Yeah, I will in a second. As soon as it actually goes live.
Hey, we are live.
Are we live?
Yeah, why is that dumb picture still there?
What picture? I don't know. There it is. We're live. There's a 30-second delay. I shouldn't have said that out loud, but nobody's viewing right now. Well, that's not true at all. But here we are. Here we are, man. Someone say contact.
Here we are.
Contact.
Why?
I'll say it.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll say it. I'll say contact. I ask the question, I'll answer the question. It's fine.
What happened?
I said someone say contact. You were supposed to say
Contact.
Well, I already said it. Anyway, whatever.
We're not flying fucking jets.
You got to be real careful when you're throwing the F-bomb out. You know what I'm saying? I mean...
Look, man, this is raw and uncut.
Well, that is true. That is true. Well, welcome to Off the Water podcast, episode 1. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've said episode 1.
Yeah,
for a podcast.
Like a long time. Like 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Wow. 3 years.
Yeah. That was a different kind of podcast.
That was a different kind of podcast for sure. I miss it, but this is going to be fun too, man. This'll scratch the itch, and we get to interact, which is kind of cool, man. Like being able to interact with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that's a pretty cool deal.
Like you're talking with somebody that's not really there.
I know it's weird, but it's pretty rad.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad. So, if you guys are joining us, thanks. Look.
What was that noise?
I don't know.
I'm echoing. Well, that's not good.
But here we are. Cody, oh yeah, you're echoing? I'm not hearing it. Do you have your... Oh man, I hope it's not mine. That would be lame.
That is super lame. I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything either. That's a problem. It's a problem with neither of us are hearing an echo, but people are on there. Hey, you gotta be able to say hi. What are you talking? Man, look at this ghost in the back. You can barely see.
My drink order.
I got mine before we went live.
Yeah, that thing's adorable.
It's hefty.
Is it? That's hefty, my man.
What is that?
That is an old fashioned.
Okay.
Works on now.
It looks very red.
Extra cherries.
Here's a question.
Cherry guy.
Do you have the mic for the webcam on as well? Is the volume on your phone turned down?
Probably not. I don't know what's happening, dude. Is it still echoey?
I don't know.
Would you please brace with us while we try to figure out how to do things we should have figured out a week ago?
A half hour ago. Jessica, I've never used her full name ever. Jess said it was echoing. So it was echoing. I don't know. Babe, is it echoing?
No, we're good now.
We're good now.
Information that could have been useful to me yesterday.
We fixed it. We have a whole crew you can't see behind us.
Whole crew.
We have what? We have absolutely nobody behind us. Somehow it fixed itself, which is just as good. Anyway, on to the first podcast. What are we talking about today, Cody?
Oh man, you son of a gun.
That's an inside joke.
I feel like this is a good chance to introduce people to the other podcast. If you guys want to hear something, Paul's looking away from the screen.
Yeah.
But if you're an adult over the age of 18 and you've got a wild side, you can go tune into our other podcast. It's still available.
It is available. Anywhere podcasts are available. Anywhere you listen to podcasts minus YouTube. It's not on YouTube. Thank God.
Yeah. You go and search Target Practice Podcast on Spotify.
If you want to know about us, that's the place to go.
If you want to know about like the real straight down and dirty about Paul and Cody.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Why I reference that is because I always used to get Paul with that line of what we're talking about, and it was funny. I'm gonna throw you guys a little Easter egg.
Oh no! Here we go.
If you can tell me what I'll do for $500,000, I will send you a box of baits.
All right. Well, there you go.
It's in the podcast. I'm not gonna tell you which episode. You gotta find it.
Okay. And if you do find it, please send us a direct message. Don't put it on a YouTube comment.
Do whatever you want, man. I don't care.
I don't think they'll even let you put it up on the YouTube
No,
comments.
you can't use those words.
Yeah. In any case, that's as much as we're going to tell you about the Target Practice Podcast. It's a great one, though, and we're going to do the same thing here, but we're going to base it mostly on bass fishing, I would say.
Absolutely.
Mostly on bass fishing. So that's our background. We've been fishing for a super long time. Currently.
Is it really weird when people when they're like, there's two people and they tell you how many years of bass fishing experience they have together?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Well, I think it's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's not weird, but
it's weird. I'm not going to tell you guys that.
And we're on the. You can read it in our bio, I think, right, on YouTube.
Oh, we put it in our bio.
Terrible idea, but I think we did.
Yeah, that's a long time, man.
Yeah,
it's got to be like almost 60 years put together.
Yeah,
55 probably.
Yeah, it is. But hopefully
not that means anything. I'm still a terrible bass fisherman.
Yeah, seriously, I haven't learned a thing. But I think most people can probably say that same thing. I mean, I would hope that most people have been fishing since they were a kid, right? I mean, like their grandpa showed them or their dad showed them. If you had a cool dad, whatever. I mean, or friends got you into it, or like our friend that I work with now that Cody used to work with, his 5-year-old son got him into it, which I think is amazing. There'll be more on that.
That's pretty cool.
That was awesome. That's very cool, man. Awesome. I'm so pumped for him.
That's like a complete polar opposite of what normally happens.
Yeah, absolutely. But how cool is it that, like, he's so pumped too. Like, he calls me, texts me. He's pumped.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think that YouTube, social media, but YouTube mainly, is like a cause of that because kids are on YouTube all the time.
Sure.
And like they start watching fishing videos and they want to do it.
Yeah, and there's so many different people that you can watch. Like, I mean, that's true for anything on YouTube, thankfully. I mean, you can go there. I don't know how many things I've fixed around the house. Yeah, I do, like 4, but whatever. That I can do if, by just going to YouTube. Like fixing something, figuring out a technique that's bass fishing, figuring out what's new, and you start following these people, you start kind of following along the journey or whatever it might be, and you're learning all this stuff that you never had an opportunity to really get your hands on before. I mean, when we were kids, I'm going to say we, because neither one of us had YouTube when we were kids. So
that's true. You're right. Yeah. That's definitely different. Like, the only exposure I got to fishing in video form was watching Bill dance outdoors on Saturday mornings with my dad.
Yeah, exactly. How cool is that?
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of us...
fishing media I consume.
I would say a lot of us did that too, I mean, a lot of us watched all those shows. Roland Martin, Bill Dance. And now we're on to watching live MLF coverage, live, elite coverage with Bassmaster. I mean, now you can consume it like while they're doing it, which we'll get into probably in another podcast about like how that's changed tournament fishing, especially at the elite, like the pro level. It's kind of interesting, because there's no hidden shit anymore. There's no hidden spots. People are on their boats watching the live feed and then finding these dudes on the lake.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely much easier to find pros live. Find pros on the lake now, than it was before. I mean, especially the ones you want to find, if you're going out looking for a certain person.
Yeah,
it's also weird,
Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
MLF, really kind of, took it to the extreme of changing the ways that, stuff was being done, just in their scoring system and how they release bass from the boat right after the catch and things like that. I mean, that kind of turned the bass fishing world as far as media and watching it on TV, totally upside down, because it was always, 5 fish, you cull, and then you bring them in for a weigh-in at the end of the day, and the weigh-in was a big deal.
Sure.
There's it's in an amphitheater, there's 1 million people there,
Yeah, it's interesting how much that's changed, and you're right. Catch, weigh, release is their kind of catch line or whatever. Under 30 seconds is the average release time between pulling it over the gunnel and dropping it back in.
Right.
And
what did you say the average was?
I think they said 28 seconds. Under 30 seconds is the average for MLF. So, conservation, which is it's kind of interesting, kind of leads me into something I read in the newest Bass magazine because the conservation aspect of it, they've taken to a complete whole different level. Right. Ray Scott, the dude that started Bass, all the tournaments, the dude, I mean, you guys, I hope you know who Ray Scott is, but he just died this year. So that dude did more for conservation than probably anyone may ever do for bass. And, just in, I was reading an article, and he was talking, I didn't know this, but I was reading an article, and I think it was in 72. They were in Alabama.
72?
Yeah, 72. They were in Alabama. I'll check it, but they were doing a big tournament in Alabama, and they wanted to release all the fish. So they wanted to weigh them and then release them. So for the first time, they were going to use live wells, and he was trying to get people to utilize live wells, which I thought was interesting. And so this whole thing's happening, and the dude, I think it was the governor, was or maybe the dude that ran Fish and Game, was dead set against it. No, you're not doing it. I don't want all these fish dead. I don't want fish coming back. What he said was, I don't want you to release these fish back into the lake contaminated and then bringing germs and stuff to the other basses.
You don't want the other fish to get COVID.
Dude, I was reading the article. If you guys haven't seen it, so the newest Bassmaster, July/August, it's this guy right here.
Look at him.
I know, man. And the whole magazine's basically stories of him, right?
If you guys don't know, what Paul's getting at is he is the, founding father, if you will.
Godfather of bass fishing. Or
the
tournament.
godfather of, tournament bass fishing, and the way that it's conducted 90% of the time across the country, with the exception of MLF.
Right.
The whole way, 5 fish, they go into the live well, can't have more, you cull, that whole deal. And now we're changing things up, and I think that Bassmaster, the Elite Series, is going to have to go the same way. I don't know if they have to, but I think that there's probably a strong pull from a lot of people to go the MLF way of releasing fish.
Yeah, I think might be a few years, but you know, with the way the Bass series, the Bassmaster series is going, like a couple months after Ray dies, they're completely changing their rules on how to even get in to fish the elites now, to even qualify, or rather, yeah, qualify for the elites. You have to fish all 9 opens now, starting this next year.
Right.
The complete opposite of what his vision was for bass fishing and tournament fishing, because literally the way he set this up was for anybody to come fish. He wanted everybody to have a shot. Now, people can argue that everybody has a shot, but to have to go and pay
I mean,
to
technically
fish all the
everybody has
opens,
a shot.
everybody
But,
has a
like,
shot.
to do it is just so impractical now to the person that has to also have a normal job.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Everybody, you know, the guys that fish the Open Series, they're not, all of them, not a lot of them are sponsored. Definitely not fully sponsored. I mean,
Yeah.
it's rare to have full sponsorships for the Open, right? Like, or for the Open Series. You're going to pay your way. Like, you have to cash checks to make it
Yeah,
go.
I mean, you got guys
Or you got to
that
be
get,
rich.
like, discounted. Like, you know, you get like the semi-sponsorship where it's like basically you're like pro team or whatever. You
Sure.
get like 20% off of baits or 30%
Mm-hmm.
off of rods or whatever it is.
Right.
And I mean, that's cool and all, but when you got to redo your rods and you got 30 of them, and then you also have to fish all these events that are all 4 states away,
Right.
and then also try and maintain your day job, becomes a little freaking crazy.
Mm-hmm. And I know what they're trying to do. I shouldn't say that, but I feel like one of the reasons they're trying to do this is probably to get some continuity with the people that are fishing the tournaments in terms of like your starting lineup, so to speak. You know, like you want the same people, you want that recognition. So for the guys that can do it, they're going to get more of it because they're going to get more screen time, they're going to get more air time, they're going to get people, you know, and for that's cool. But for the dude that, you know, fishes weekend warrior tournaments and stuff like that, you know, MLF went the complete opposite way. MLF went with their Big Five. This was something that they did starting last year. But you have an opportunity to qualify to get into the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit by fishing 3 regional events, which there are still on the West Coast, which is crazy because most of the lakes are shut down. But all these regions, and then if you make it in the top 25, you go to the championship at the end of the year. If you end up in the top 3, you're going on to fish the pro circuit. And they also realign that so that I think the top 2 or 3 finishers at each pro circuit event, I think it's the top 2, get an opportunity to fish the next MLF Pro Tour event, which is, and so they're giving you opportunities like all the way up. And
But see,
I don't know.
that's kind of difficult too. So you finish in the top 2 or whatever, and then you get to fish the next MLF Pro Tour event, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you only get one, like my lord, man.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but I mean, Jesus, there was
that's
only
even
80
that straight
dudes.
8-mile stuff, man. You got one shot, one opportunity, man.
Yeah, well, that's
Friggin'
true.
mom spaghetti.
In the immortal words of Marshall Mathers, yes.
Yeah.
But you got to understand though, they're already fishing a pro circuit. They're already in that circuit, right? So they're already there. The pro tour, there's only 6 events. There's only 80 dudes that even fish it. It's an invite only. A lot of people were upset about that, but you know what? They they made an entirely different level that
I was just
anyone
gonna
had
say.
ever done. So you can look at the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit and the Elite Series is the same. It's the same type of playing field. You have, you know, a bunch of, I think it's 200 and 250 max boats. So you have 250 anglers and co-anglers on the big at the big events.
Yeah.
That's the top of the echelon.
And they still do 5 fish live well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're
Just 'cause
and
there's
they're
so many.
slowly working that in. I think they're going to start doing it in the championship that they do at the end of the
Right.
year, and the pro tour dudes are able to fish those events as well. They can
Right.
go and they can fish them.
One thing I do like what the MLF is doing with basically running 2 separate, like, tour lineups. Like, you have, like, the MLF Pro Tour, which is 80 dudes. And then you have the Tackle Warehouse Series, which is, like you said, like 250 per
Couple
event
hundred,
or whatever
yeah.
it is. More traditional. But, like, MLF does a really good job of highlighting that also. Like, you can go online when those are going on and watch it live.
You can watch those too, yeah. Absolutely.
The Elite Series isn't doing that. Like,
No.
you watch the Elite Series and that's it. You know, so it's like, I don't know, I kind of appreciate that, you know.
Also,
I feel bad for the dudes in the Tackle Warehouse Series when, like, 20 of the dudes from the Pro Tour come down and fish all the Tackle Warehouse events.
Michael Niels does it all the
Yes.
time. You know, that
Clean
dude's a
shot,
warrior,
yes.
man. And but what's fun? So does Cody Myers. Cody Myers does. There's quite a few of them that do. But the other interesting thing is MLF doesn't put a time limit for off limit fishing. So, like, for instance, they'll allow dudes that are fishing Bassmaster to the Elite Series. They can fish Tackle Warehouse Series too if they're already qualified, and they'll make exception if they already fished that tour. Actually,
They
ran
fish
into that.
Yeah, that fishery.
But it doesn't go back the other way. So last year, John Cox fished in, I think it was the St. Johns River. No. There was the one in New York.
No. It was St. Lawrence.
St. Lawrence. So he fished St. Lawrence MLF, and it was just tackle. I think it was just it was Bass Pro. It was the tour, Bass Pro Tour.
Yeah.
And he went to go fish an elite event there, but it didn't have there was a 30-day. I think at the time 30 days, so they kicked him off. They wouldn't even let him fish. It's like, oh,
Right, they wouldn't
okay.
let 'em fish.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it. I don't know, man. I have my own opinions on it, but it's just kind of interesting how they're doing it, and it's not, in my opinion, the vision that Ray Scott had, which is kind of the point I was getting back to was, it seems like the MLF took a bunch of his ideas and expanded on them, or just continued with them, especially with conservation, because like they asked him. A couple years ago, one of his friends writing an article about him asked Ray what his, I have it right here, the thing you're most proud of doing. And he said, the thing I'm most proud of is starting the concept of catch and release. That's pretty cool. And all those issues he had with in Alabama. And so he said, his line to that dude in Alabama was, if you guys are going to want to stop us from doing catch and release, then you're going to have to bring all your guys down here, and you're going to, with baseball bats, so that they can club all the fish after we weigh them. Well, instead they showed up with a big live well tank, and they they came to terms. This is fishing game. The next day when the tournament started, they came down. They brought a big live well tank, and what they ended up doing was 3 miles from the launch and the weigh-in, they had a roped off area that they set up for these bass that was in 2 feet of water, and they put all those bass in there for a week, and only 25% of them lived because it was in the middle of the summer. But still, 25% is better than 0, and it just went from there. From that point forward, it was catch and release. That's the way they did it. So I mean, it worked. It was bad for the 75% of the fish that died, but the point,
Would have been 100.
the point, yeah, 100%. The point would be was proven. So that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome for sure.
You know, on the topic of fish dying, I know like MLF's big thing is like, you know, we're doing this so that we can catch them, weigh them, and get them back in the water. If it's possible, it's best for the fish, yada, 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 we all know. I really, like, and we're not putting them in a live well, 'cause that's, you know, that can hurt the fish, whatever. I've been fishing a long time. I put a lot of fish in live wells. I've never had a dead fish in a live well. Not once.
Neither have I.
You know, and they do the, you know, it can't touch the carpet of the boat, whatever, you know, you get a landing violation. You can have like a slight touch of the tail or whatever. But I don't even, like, I am no biologist, but like, I really think that some of that information is skewed. A lot of people love to use that information, like, oh, catch and release is like, you know, you're killing more fish than you realize, blah, blah, yada, yada. I'm not sure that I subscribe to that. I'm just, like, I understand you get on the carpet, their slime coat gets eaten off a little bit, but you get them back in the water, and it comes back. Like, they're a fish, that's what it does. I feel like you come out, like, here in Tennessee, with how many people fish that freaking lake that's 3 miles that way. Like, if that was the case, wouldn't there be dead bass floating everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, with the amount of tournaments that are on that lake, I mean, pick a lake.
There's like 450 tournaments a year on Lake Chickamauga.
Right. And that's one of the most thriving fisheries for bass in the world.
Yeah. So I don't, and it's not against it. I'm not against the landing violations. I'm not really against any of that thought. I just don't know how true the information behind that thought is. Again, not a biologist, but I've got a lot of work in the field though, still, and never seen it. I've come across, to be honest, like the only bass, I've come across a couple dead floating in the water. I mean, together we've come across a couple, like, they're usually really small, and literally I think all of them have been in the summer and in places where, like, it's super gunky, like ultra frog territory, holler at it. Like, the last time me and you fished Santa Margarita there in Central California, like, we came across there with 2, remember? But I mean, the water was like 88 degrees. It was socked in with pond scum, basically, that
full
thick,
algae,
nasty Velcro green scum. Not that, you know, I don't know what that plays a role in. I know that stuff gets real hot, and it keeps the water really hot.
Yeah.
It doesn't work as like an insulator. Like, it takes the heat and just forces it down, because when we roll back into that stuff, the water jumps 3, 4, 5 degrees.
Oh, no doubt.
So it's like, I don't know if that's just not enough oxygen because there's too much heat and the fish are just dying. One would think the fish would just swim to cooler water. I don't know. But the point I was getting at is, like, we don't run across a lot of dead fish. Like, the only other really dead fish I ever come across was that one that tried to eat that bluegill, remember?
How did we revive the bluegill, man? How was the bluegill alive and that bass wasn't? That bass was...
Paul.
How big was it?
Were fishing
Did we weigh it?
Lopez Lake, again, Central California, real small lake, Arroyo Grande, California. And we fished that lake a lot. And we come up, we're like idling through, like, it's not a creek arm because it's still the main lake, but it's about the width of a small creek arm.
Right.
And we see something floating in the water. And we pull up to that thing, and it is an enormous bass. And I'm like, dude, it's dying. Like, it's like on its side, floating. We get up to it, we net it, bring it in, and the thing has got like a no joke, like, what do you think, like 3/4 pound bluegill in his mouth?
At least. I
mean, the thing was probably 6 inches around, 7 inches around.
Yeah, it was big.
Had
I mean,
taken
that bass was, what, 8+.
It was like 877 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and that was
The
dead.
it had swallowed the bluegill, and the barbs of the bluegill had gotten through the roof of the bass's mouth, and it just couldn't do anything.
Right.
We pulled the bluegill out with freaking vice grips.
And that thing swam away. A little
Swam away
thing
in
was
that bass back, and
savage,
we tried to
dude.
revive it.
Fucking bass
We tried
killer.
to do CPR.
Man.
We got pictures of that somewhere. I got
Yeah.
pictures on my phone of us holding that fish.
Yeah, I remember. I think I've got some pictures of it as well.
And let me tell you, that fish was close to a lake record there.
Yeah. And that was
I think
dead.
the
I
lake
mean,
record
well, it
was
wasn't,
like
it
10
was,
or like,
it was newly dead.
it was like 10.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did Littner get that one before he left?
Yeah.
Of course. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I subscribe to the catch and release being negative towards fish. I mean, I don't know.
Man, not with that G juice. Put that G juice in that. Those things go ape
Yeah, man,
shit.
you throw that magic blue juice in that thing, and that thing's just like, it's like steroids. It's like, you know,
Dude.
hit a meth and you know,
Yeah.
give them a little pump.
It is seriously, it is bass cocaine.
Like
they're
they
just-
hit the water, and they hit that water about 400 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
they are just railing it. Just infusing bass with crack. It's amazing.
Hey, that stuff is great.
Dude.
That stuff is awesome.
And the other thing is too, it kind of like wrap up that whole deal is like, we also haven't been in water over 90, and I know that that's a huge issue. A lot of guys run, they bring ice. Yeah, and listen, we have a lot to learn when it comes to that kind of situation. Thankfully, not a lot of people run into that situation. When they do, they're pretty prepared for it. Most of the tournament anglers that are doing that down in Texas, Florida, whatever, they're bringing big 20-pound bags of ice with them, and so you do what you can. And there's going to be some loss. That's the way it is. The tournament I fished at, man, that tournament with my dad, I fished at where was that? Vicente. First tournament we fished. The first tournament I've ever fished. And me and him, we got one fish. Like 15 minutes left in the day, I caught a crankbait fish. I was like just happy we didn't get skunked. And we get to we weigh in for some reason. I don't know why. But it was like 30 boats. I weigh in. It's like 3 pounds. Like badass, whatever. So they were fizzing fish. And they were fizzing fish at the ramp. And they were asking people if they knew how to fizz it. If they knew how to fizz them to help. So anyway, we were pretty much the last boat to do it, but we went down. We didn't have to fizz the fish because I caught him in 4 feet of water. But this dude was down there as part of the tournament, ABA. He knows what I'm going to say. So
I love this story.
So I backed the boat down, which is, by the way, like a 1/4 mile long ramp. It's ridiculous. I backed the boat down. We get it pretty close into the water. And this dude is like, I'm talking to the guy, and he's like, yeah, I'm just trying to help. Hopefully these fish don't die. I see a couple of them. There's a couple of them floating, right in back of the boat. And I'm like, yeah, man, well, it's a good thing you're doing. At least you're helping out, fizzing fish and stuff. That's cool. He's like, do you guys need it fizz? I'm like, nah, this is a crankbait fish. We're good. And as I say that, my dad helicopters this fucking bass over. He grabbed and just launched it over the back of the boat. It's like helicoptering through the air, and I'm like, I'm talking to this dude about basically conservation. Like I'm talking about how not to kill fish, and here's Cap just launching this fucking fish. I'm like, I felt like that part in what movie is that? Vince Vaughn. The couple's retreat where where his kid's taking a dump in the and he's like, what do we do? What?
I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say. That's exactly. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get in the truck and leave. This is fucking ridiculous. I can't believe this shit.
We're gonna seek our entertainment elsewhere.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's been real fun, but we're gonna get up out of here.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
What's up, old Toad coming in saying hi. What's up, old Toad? What's going down?
Oh, what's up, dog?
I think you're gonna have to tell me if you're listening. If you're still watching, if you're still listening. Jesus, Toad, are you in? You got Illinois? You still in Illinois? I think that's where he was. He used to be down in this area. I think he's back.
I thought he was down, so he moved?
I think. I could totally be wrong on this one, but I'm pretty sure he was. We talked a long time ago. But anyway.
Yeah, well, he's been a freaking follower for a long time, man.
Yeah, he has. For a really long time. It's very cool. One of the OGs for sure. So yeah, that story, that's just ridiculous. I was just like, I'm out. It's like, it's pretty funny. But
yeah, he's in Corona still.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought, man, I'm thinking somebody else. Okay.
All right, let me.
My bad,
address some
bro.
Stuff. Tennessee. Let's see. We've done Dale Hollow, Percy Priest, Center Hill. Yeah, those three. I live 2 miles from Chickamauga. I fish it from the bank. That's not true. And I fish chick from the bank. So.
Yeah. I haven't. We're not there yet, Toad. We're me and Jess are moving that way. October. Whew.
Coming up quick, my man. Can't be here fast enough.
Oh man, I cannot wait. I was at Paris today. It was terrible. God, I hate that place so much. I'm sorry for anybody that loves Paris, but Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Cool, man.
Dude, it's so low right now. I haven't been there for a long time, but hey, we appreciate you getting us some followers, man. Thanks. That's rad. Putting out the word. Yeah, well, Paris is not my friend, and it was down like so low. I'm gonna have to send you some pictures. I'll put the video up because not every day on the water is a good day. So I guess we better put that video up. But you're gonna trip when you see how much.
Right.
Man.
2 Februaries. He's got like 2 years and a few months.
Oh, he's going that way.
Not bad, man.
Nice,
well,
dude. Yeah.
Toad, where are you gonna move to, man? Let us know.
That's dope. More people.
How low is it? Like, I mean.
Okay, so let me give you an
So
example.
we got.
Okay.
Like Paris has that, like beautiful, like center of the lake tree line. Like, how much of those trees are out of water?
There's a whole nother set of trees now out of the water.
Thanks.
Like I was fishing those trees today, but I was fishing what used to be the outer line of trees.
Yeah.
So those trees used to be like last time, like when we fish them, those trees were in about 20 feet of water. Those trees are in 4 feet of water right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I got a bunch of followers on spinnerbait. I had a couple that were hot too, hammered it twice and just totally missed it. I don't know how that happens.
It wouldn't commit to a spinnerbait?
Dude, they were hammering a spinnerbait and just missing, like I think that it was operator error probably. But
I'd be willing to bet that this guy didn't put on a trailer hook either.
no, you know what my trailer was? A Kitech. That's what my trailer was. Okay, sorry, Brent, but it was a small one. Yeah, it was. You know what? It's that War Eagle. Not even supposed to have a trailer on it, but.
Oh yeah, that screaming thing.
The Screaming Eagle, yeah. But
Yeah.
or I think it's Screaming. Yeah. Anyway, but I had a lot of luck with that thing. It's awesome, and it's small.
Yeah.
So it's, and I watched one fish hit it again, and then I threw back into the tree, and ran it through the bush, or ran it through the arms of the tree, the branches, if you will. And he came firing out and hit it again. I don't know, man. It was a weird deal. I broke off.
It's a small spinnerbait too. It's not like they have much to grasp at that isn't a hook.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think maybe it was just like no, I don't want to hit it. Like at the last minute, you're like,
I don't want to do it.
Pumping
but
the brakes.
I can't stop myself.
yeah, I don't know. It was crazy, but I broke off a real nice fish, probably three and a half on a double fluke, and it broke at the hook. It broke at the hook. I thought for sure it broke me off at the swivel. I thought for sure it did, because that's what happens with those a lot of times. It broke at the hook. It was a nice fish too. And
So you're not failed?
I guess
Not the San Diego Jam failing.
no. I don't know what the hell happened, dude. It
Tie a
doesn't.
shark knot like a real man.
Yeah. No, I did. That's what I'm tying now.
You're
That's
tying
what
shark
I'm
knot
tying.
now
Yeah,
too?
that's what I'm tying. Yeah.
Well then,
Or
scratch what I just said.
the Roland
User
Martin
error.
one or whatever the hell it is. What's the? Everybody calls it a different one, but it's got 3 tag
It's
ends.
the one like. Well, this is gonna be really shitty for people that are just listening, but
No, it's
you
terrible.
put it through, double it back through, twist, then take the loop and put it to the bottom and just cinch it.
No, different one.
Okay.
I think it's the Roland Martin or the I don't know something.
Looking for a place between Knoxville and Chattanooga. Let me tell you, man, that's where I live. On the river, of course. Not sure where
Probably.
you're at. Probably Dayton or Decatur.
There you go.
Any areas I should definitely not go to? Well, let me tell you. Dayton's dope. That's where I'm at. Decatur, there is nothing there.
Decatur's south,
It
right?
depends on what you're looking for, though. Like, I mean, like if you don't care to drive for like a good grocery store or like a good restaurant or even like a couple fast food restaurants that you enjoy or whatever it may be, like basically you can live anywhere. Any areas I should definitely not go to. Stay out of Chattanooga proper. Terrible there. I would go north of Chattanooga, like at least get past Saudi Daisy. Anywhere past that, you're good. Cleveland's super dope. Cleveland's got like all your amenities you want.
Yeah, that's where we were
I'm like a
looking.
real estate agent apparently.
Seriously.
Yeah, just don't go to Chattanooga. Chattanooga sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's like living in Corona, bro. It's like
Yeah, don't do that. Like, don't put yourself back in the same place you're at now.
right. If you're going to Tennessee, move to a place that move to Tennessee for that reason to get away from California.
Yeah.
That's
Honestly, like everywhere is cool. It just depends on how close you want to be to certain things. Literally, I mean,
yeah.
that's the thing out here. It's not like in California or other big cities where like no matter where you live in the city, you're like doesn't matter. There's 15 Walmarts and Targets and there's restaurants everywhere and gas stations. It's different. You get out here and it's like you kind of got to pick where you want to live based on what's nearby. But if you don't care so much because maybe you're a homebody or you ain't got stuff to do, you live wherever you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're never more than 15 minutes from a boat ramp, so you ain't got to worry about that.
That you don't have to pay to get on.
Nope, you just drop it.
Yeah.
So most of them are mud, which is pretty awesome. I mean, it's just like someone came through the chainsaw.
Yeah.
You know the guy.
Yeah.
And just yeet.
Yeah, it looks a lot like you with that whole beard thing going on.
Yeah,
just
like,
saying.
like
Yeah.
this.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
like that.
Crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy to think that we're not gonna have to pay to get on a lake anymore. God, it's
It's
amazing.
very weird.
It's amazing.
You know what else is weird? When you get here and you buy your fishing license, and it's $30, which is
Yeah.
great. It's
Mhm.
like $30 cheaper than California. But then it's like, it's also your hunting license.
God,
That's pretty
man. me and Jess got we got a thing in the mail the other day from the DMV.
I hear that, Toad. I hear that.
Yeah, no shit. To get the Tahoe registered.
Yeah. What was that, about $1,400?
$580, I think, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, we're not doing that because it's in September. Like, no,
yeah.
no, absolutely not.
You're not
You know
getting
what?
that,
We're gonna get both vehicles registered. The boat with custom plates for $500 cheaper.
You're gonna get both vehicles and the boat, and you're going to be the boat's registered for 2 years, I believe, and it's probably going to cost you $150.
Right.
If you get custom plates.
Yeah, if I get custom plate, yeah. I'm like, what a nightmare, dude. It's just crazy, dude. Out here is just nuts. I can't believe it. It's the difference. Like today, I had to go through inspection because I hadn't been to Paris forever, and then it was $20 to get on the lake, which is cheaper than anywhere else. Because
That Diamond Valley is like $653 plus a blood sample.
Right. Yep. I think it went up. Funny enough. Skinner's
How
27.
can you go up more?
Yeah, I don't know, man. They only have one ramp running right now too. The other ramps are out of the water. I mean, no, that's how low that Diamond Valley's even lower. It's crazy, I guess. So that's driving a lot of traffic to Paris too, and with that and 500 ski boats and all that stuff. I mean, I was off the water by 11 a day. Thankfully, I didn't get. There was still it was packed, but man, nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
Did you blank? Blank what?
Oh no, I didn't
Lost
blank.
me.
On today when I fished.
Oh.
No, I got one over the gunnel. I got a custom release at the boat.
Those are my favorite.
And let's see, I had some drop shot bites. I didn't drop shot though. I just thought I would check a couple rock piles and then spinner bait. Bunch of shorts. I had at least 3 or 4 hookups on the fluke. I just couldn't get them pegged, which isn't. That's not uncommon for flukes. It's just, especially if they're not.
Yeah, not uncommon for that turd.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we know how. You know what? The video comes out tomorrow. Thankfully, it's my version, so it's a great one to throw, as long as your name's not Cody.
Speaking of baits, we talked about it. Well, you've seen video. Like if you guys follow us on our social media platforms, we've been working on 2 baits, trying to get videos for you guys. One we talked about a while back, and that was that Dark Sleeper from Mega Bass. Been out a long time, but we have a different take on it than most people. You'll see in the video whenever it gets done. Because the key to making videos on baits is you have to catch fish on the baits.
Yeah.
And here's the real kicker: it has to be on video.
Right.
I don't do that.
Yeah, apparently not. You go to honey holes, you forget the video, you take pictures with your daughter, which is cute as shit, by the way. And then you tell me 3 days later, I caught all those fish in 30 minutes on a dark sleeper. I'm like, cool, man, can't wait for the video footage. He's like, I didn't video. Oh, well.
To be fair, it was Mother's Day, and Emily wanted to go. My wife wanted to go fishing for Mother's Day, so we went.
That's cool.
So, we're at the Dark Sleeper. I'm just gonna grab it. It's right here. Like people don't already know what this thing is. Dark Sleeper. You guys have seen it. It's beautiful. It's great. Probably got a video coming out on that. Maybe. Who knows? Might not get around to it. And then we've also did a little hinting.
The Grinch.
This thing. The old Grinch.
I'm going to pop up another picture for the folks at home.
Yeah, bring up the, are you going to share your screen?
Well, I'm showing it right now. It's from Tackle Warehouse, so you can get a better idea on the colors and whatnot.
If you guys haven't seen this, I had never seen this. It's been out a while now, like a year, I guess. And I had never seen it. I don't even know how I came across this thing, but it's like as if a hollow body frog had love relations with a swim bait.
Love relations. I like how we're going PG now, but yeah, you're right. It is different. The tail's upside down. Keep it kind of a little extra on top of the water sound and noise and.
Yeah, the tail's upside down, which I think is interesting. I guess that was to get more action off the tip of the tail.
It does have action. I mean, it does have, it almost acts like a whopper plopper in a sense.
That's kind of what I figured
yeah,
it would do.
When I
haven't even cast this thing yet.
Yeah, I threw it a few times at Skinner, But just to see it, I wanted to see what it did. It also does a really interesting, almost wake bait kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
I'm going to tell you right now, me and Paul have already discussed it, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you guys have these, as soon as I opened this thing up, I was pretty aware that there was going to be hookup ratio problems as soon as I grabbed it. So then the next thing I did was grab the Googler and go to Google and start looking at what people saying, and that is exactly what everyone says, is that they can't hook up on this thing.
That's what they were saying about the Berkeley Gilly too, but that was just a problem with rigging.
Yeah, well, we fixed that. So if you haven't saw that video, go check it out. It's a great video.
We'll put it up in the
I'm
description.
going to tell you right now, like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to tell you right now, me and Paul are going to figure how to get good hookup ratios on this, because this thing is totally different. I mean, yeah, it's like a hollow body frog, but it's also a swim bait. I mean, this is like an open water hollow body frog buzz bait thing. Like,
I just like it because it's a bait fish profile, so it's not as aggressive as a wake bait, and you can throw it over pads, and you can do all these things that you would with a frog. It's bitchin'.
It's like, what intrigues me is it's like a whopper plopper swim bait top water with the 4x4 action of a frog, right? And I'm telling you right now, like, you guys can see, when I squish this thing, like, I'm squeezing as hard as I can, and that's all the hook I get.
Yeah.
So I can see why people are having problems with this.
You got to bring that hook forward, man. I think those hooks need to come forward a little bit.
It needs to come up and out, and yes, there is a lot of play in how much before that hook comes to the bend. Yeah, we can rock this thing up forward a little bit. We can bring it from here, like this kind of action. And
I like how it looks like your background completely is blacked out now. That's terrific.
Sorry.
Something is refocused.
It's because the camera's focusing.
No, gotcha. Anyway, you can see it up on our screen. You can see it up on the screen too. If you want to get a better look at it, you can go to Tackle Bass. What? You can go to Tackle Warehouse, but you can even see in the picture on Tackle Warehouse how low that hook goes before it comes back up, and I think that is probably the issue.
One of the problems. Well, I'm going to tell you another issue right now too. That's the last thing I'm going to say about this thing before we make an actual video on it. Is that this is from Jackal. Okay, this is straight out of Japan, right? I mean, Jackal is like a born in Japan kind of deal. This is Jackal USA, but still, Japanese country. Japanese brand, and they make terrific baits. I mean, high quality, terrific baits, and they're very pricey.
Right.
And what you get with that kind of bait usually is a great bait that is perfectly tuned and set up just the way it needs to be, with sharp hooks. And I'm going to tell you right now, I can press on this hook hard, just straight down, and I get nothing into my finger. And I've opened two of them, and they're both exactly the same. So I'm telling you right now, these hooks need to be sharpened. Which
shouldn't have to.
That's
do
a video
that.
for another time.
Yeah.
But
shouldn't have to do it.
When I
though.
pay that much for, and they're not like they're that expensive, but when you buy a bait from Jackal or a company like that, you expect a little bit more. I shouldn't have to alter this thing so much.
Right.
But just things to look forward to, you guys. We're gonna figure that thing out, though, for sure.
Well, if we're talking baits, we're bringing out the next one because this is amazing. Reading another Bassmaster magazine. I came across this thing.
When you sent me that, I really wanted to stop fishing.
I can't even believe, I don't know why you would name something this, but we're talking about the bean rig. I don't know if you guys know what the bean rig is, but
nobody knows. Nobody cares.
It is like a Texas rig version 2.0. That's all it is. That's all it is.
It's like a Texas rig, Tokyo rig.
If a Texas rig and a Tokyo rig got together, so the Texas rig went to Tokyo, had some drinks, went to a club.
If there was a Texan and a Japanese person.
A Texan went to went to Tokyo and was having some drinks, enjoying the nightlife, made some bad decisions. We're just going to call it what it is. And out pops this piece of shit. I'm bringing it up. They call it the black bean rig.
Toad says he looked at the Grinch but thought the tail would get in the way of the hooks. I'm going to tell you right now, that is not going to happen. Those hooks are tucked away securely. I mean, they've got a freaking... It's like tucked away in a hope chest, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There is a dowry to get those hooks out.
That's a pretty good idea. That's a pretty good
idea. Braid on the line tie, run a treble to the tail. It's a great idea for open water, but the problem I have with that goes back to the company in which the bait you designed is a freaking 4x4 bait like a toad, and I shouldn't have to tie a freaking treble hook to the tail to get to catch fish when I want to throw this thing in the gunga.
Right, and that's my thought too, because when I threw it, it's a great idea. But when I was throwing it, I threw it on top of pads, or on top of...
Yeah.
It wasn't pads, it was grass that was laid on top of the surface. And the first thing I noticed was it doesn't come belly down. You're gonna have to negotiate a cast that keeps that thing parallel, stomach down, for it to hit and not roll, because it wants to kind of roll over. So if you had a hook, yeah, it would be, you'd run into some issues there, because the thing wants to kind of roll before it gets going.
Yeah.
And frogs do too, man. When you throw a frog onto a pad, I mean, I don't know how many times I've thrown frogs onto pads where that thing goes goes upside down, or you're popping it over the pads and it kind of flips over and comes back.
Yeah, but when it gets in the water and you twitch it, it rolls back over.
Also, it's not hooking anything, because the hooks it's a, different design. But that's what I'm saying.
And maybe that's the problem people are having with that Grinch, is that it's rolling belly up, and the hooks are just not facing the right way. I mean, there's very little time when you connect on a bass with a frog where you get a bottom hooked fish.
Yeah. And when I was throwing it, it never stayed upside down. I guess what I'm saying is, if you're tossing it, and your initial throw, if you had a hook on the top of it, and it rolls over, it's going to get stuck. Whereas...
Sounds like the Grinch is a POS. Maybe you can beat back.
Well, we can put them both together and put them at the bottom of our list. Let me tell you something. And yeah, babe, it's a bean rig.
Go back to the bean rig.
Yeah, we need to go back to the bean rig. This thing is
the
ridiculous.
Rig that is going to change bass fishing.
That's what they said. That actually, a quote out of the magazine I was reading, the article said it was going to change bass fishing. Let me tell you something. The Texas rig changed bass fishing.
Drop shot changed bass fishing.
Right. This thing, it's no different than an unpegged Texas rig.
Based off of the Tokyo rig is basically what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even have a drop in the bucket of bass fishing.
No, it really didn't. And I've got a bunch of them, and I've used. I don't think I've ever tied one on and actually thrown it. I think
when it all comes down to it, a Texas rig and a Tokyo rig, and now this stupid bean rig, are essentially the same thing. I don't think, personally, and you've made this comment too to me, that if I was a bass, which I'm clearly not, that I would be like, that creature bait is 2 inches off the bottom, not on the bottom. You know what? I'm going to eat that one.
Yeah, some baits we all know catch anglers, not bass. They catch fishermen, not fish. And that's all part of the deal. It's marketing, and I get it. And I'm not saying that this thing wouldn't work certain situations, sure. But you can do the same thing with the Texas rig. You can. Unpeg it, you can run it, it's the same deal. The difference is when the bait and the weight come together, it's about an inch off the ground. If it's like a 3/4 ounce weight, because it obviously varies on the size of the weight. As you can see in the picture, those are 2 different size weights, but it's the same company, so one's like a 1/4 ounce, the other one's 3/4 ounce, whatever it is. That's the deal. I don't know, man. I don't see it. I don't think that's going to catch on. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you should write this down. This is the day that Target Practice. What? I almost said it. Target Practice Podcast. Wow. This is the day. This is the day that Ditch Panda goes down in history for not calling something right on the very first
That
episode.
could be. Look, here's the deal. We know, especially because MLF, another thing, not to bring up old news again, but MLF keeps live track of baits that fish were caught on.
Right.
And we can be honest with ourselves and everybody else when, like, it's the same 5 players throughout the entire year and throughout the United States, really. I mean, it is a freaking crankbait of some sorts, different depths, just targeting different depths of fish, but a crankbait,
Right.
a jerkbait, the drop shot, the Texas rig, or the jig.
Right.
I mean, that is what most tournaments are won on.
Yeah. I would throw the chatterbait in there too, but again,
For a while.
yeah. I mean,
for a while.
depending on the
for
year,
like 3 years
or
running.
depending on the time of year, it's going to be either like you know you're going to get a spinnerbait bite or a chatterbait bite, you know, something like that. But there's some guys that just throw chatterbaits. I
Time
mean,
of the year is going to change those a little bit.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is, like, big numbers. That's Denver, man.
yeah. It's interesting how crazy it's got. Well, I love it because I'm a jerkbait guy through and through, but that bait has come back in tournament
with a
fishing.
vengeance.
And
it came back.
Yeah.
With the introduction of live sonar.
Yeah, it came back when DC caught all those fish at what was that? Sam
It used to be that when you were video game fishing, when you were fishing for bass, you were targeting bass that you were seeing on your electronics.
Right.
That you were fishing a drop shot.
Right.
Now, when you watch it, when they see bass on their live imaging, the first thing they go to is they throw jerkbait out there, which is genius. They're doing it for a reason. They can see how aggressive these fish are.
Right.
If they're going to follow, if they're even interested at all.
Yep.
And they know. If they're not interested, maybe I'll throw a drop shot at them. Maybe I'll throw a jig at them.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely changed the game.
Within one cast, if it's worth spending your time there.
Right. Yeah, that's.
But that live imaging is a topic for another time because we can talk a lot of time.
Yeah. We've had it on the boat now for almost a year and a half. Actually, a year and a half. And yeah, it really does. It changes what everybody thought. Really, it's kind of flipped most of it on the lid. It just has. And yeah, we'll definitely get into that on another episode for sure because man, it's changed the game like I don't even know what else. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the introduction of 2D, 3D sonar was one of them. Mega Live 360, that was one of them.
It's the biggest thing in bass fishing since
live wells.
Since you stopped seeing little fish on your fucking fish finder.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible.
And that includes baits, boats, rigs.
Yeah.
It is the biggest thing in bass fishing, probably in the last 20 years.
I would say at least, yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of people fighting that anymore either. There was at first, but there's not anybody fighting it now. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that still have the opinion they're like, they don't really want to do it. It's kind of cheating, blah, 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 but they have to do it to give a fighting chance.
Yeah, the thing is, there's been a lot of talk over the last, since it came out, there's been a lot of talk about tournaments possibly rendering it illegal, but that won't happen. The reason it won't happen is because anyone can buy it. It's not like, there's limits, right? Like you can't run a 300 horse motor. 250 is the max. I think that's probably going to change too. I think in the next 5 years, and I think that is far too long, by the way, but with the advances of the hulls and what they're doing now, I think the 300s, I think because so now if you look at the starting lineup, Nitro, Ranger, go down the list. Triton, all of them. They all have a recommended maximum horsepower of 300. So,
Well, the thing is, though, is it's like, I think what they're trying to, why they haven't done it yet is like, they know if they do it, everyone's going to run a 300. Which is like, right now, everybody runs 250, no one's not running 250. And I think the thing is just kind of like a safety thing. Not that I really think that it's going to be any less safe, like going another 6 or 7, 8 miles an hour on the water. But there's just no need, especially the way MLF is taking it, because they're at their spot when they start the clock.
yeah, I think probably there's a couple things going on. One of which was just the way bass boats were designed. The transom was the biggest problem. The weight, the physical weight of the engine, right?
Yeah.
Which obviously has changed in technology with the actual engine itself. It doesn't have to be this massive V8 anymore. I mean, look at the Yamaha still runs a V6, and they're making 250 horsepower, and it's one of the most efficient motors. It's probably the most efficient motor on the market right now. It is destroying every other motor, every other outboard in its class.
Well, there's anything to be said about Yamaha is they know how to make motors.
They know how to make motors.
All across the board.
And you guys are going to have to let us know in the comments. That might be one of the comments is I have not yet heard of anybody, not one person that's had an issue with the Yamaha, with the new SHO motor. Not one. There hasn't. I mean, guys do regular maintenance, and even their maintenance is less than everything else.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to change filters, like the fuel filter, like you have to do with the Mercury every 100 hours or 80 hours, whatever it is. Like all these things you just don't have to do. It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's really pretty crazy, and they're quiet from what I heard. I mean, I've heard nothing but great things about them. So, yeah, I think really hoping Ranger has that option in about 7 months or so. Because if they do, we're getting it. Because I would much rather go with a Yamaha. For one thing, it's a V6 250, and it's more efficient than the V8 Merc. You're getting better fuel mileage, and the way that those things are set up, it'll tell you to the 10th of a gallon how much you have left, and how much when you're running, how many gallons are being burned, which is pretty badass.
Look, see, Old Toad's still running his Yamaha. 12 years, no problem.
That's awesome. Well, you hit it on the head, dude. Yamaha knows how to build motors. I mean,
I'm gonna tell you, like, I have an inside look to Yamaha motors, and I can tell you that them things are pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. Especially when you slap 2 of them with turbos on a 25-foot ski boat.
Yeah, that thing's pretty rad. I was reading an article. I think is it Jason Christie? I can't remember who has that Yamaha. He said he could get on plane in 1.5 feet of water.
Jesus.
1.5 feet. So he's able to put it up. He's able to put his jack plate all the way up to the very top. He can bring it all the way up and
still plane out.
Yep, and plane out in 1.5 feet. He's still got plenty of water pressure, no issues. That's insane.
You could really piss some people off with that.
Imagine that at Okeechobee. Dude.
Yeah.
Because those guys have massive issues with getting on plane because a lot of that lake is in less than 3 feet of water.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Depth's 15 feet.
Yeah. So there's going to be some people changing some stuff around, believe me. That's going to be that's a great motor. I'm really hoping we could do a...
Christie? Does Christie fish off an aluminum?
Mm-mm. I'll look right now.
John Cox does, I know that.
I know Cox does. Yeah, Christie might too. He runs a... I'm thinking of the wrong guy. Hold on. I'll tell you who I'm thinking of. I got it right here somewhere. Just got to remember which one it's in. I think it's in this one.
John Cox fishes off an aluminum, and
I know Cox.
Somebody else, I can't remember.
So does your boy. Dude from Dayton, or from Tennessee somewhere. What's his name? The older cat. Throws punches all the time. He's always flipping.
Morgan?
Yeah, Morgan. He runs he was for a while.
Oh, he was on a bullet. He's on a bullet.
Oh, he is? Okay. I used to run an aluminum boat.
tell you what, that aluminum boat that John Cox runs, I mean, you could play football on the deck of that boat.
Yeah, it is Christie. VMAX SHO 250 on the back of that Express. God, can you imagine?
What does he do, like 98 miles an hour?
Probably. But he's the one that was telling me, because he was talking to me only in the article, obviously. Let me get that off. I don't want that thing on there anymore. It's terrible. He was saying that the technology that allows him to manage the fuel, says the electronic control unit told me I could get maximum mileage by running the engine between 32 and 3,500 RPM, and how much fuel I was burning right down to the 10th of a gallon. At the end of the first day, his gauge read 0.5 gallons. He burned 39.5 gallons that day. Pretty insane.
So much.
Pretty insane. So, and it's got a new alternator on it too that charges better. So it's charging everything up too. When he's not fishing tournaments, he charges it every like 3 days if he's out 2 or 3 days in a row. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's dope. Well, it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. We're going to wrap this thing up, my man.
Yeah, here's what we're going to do right before we wrap it up. We're going to give everybody one last shot at voting on what I'm going to be fishing. So let's bring that up real quick. So on our community posts on YouTube, if you go to our page, you can vote on different stuff that we've put up, right? So the latest one's going to be, Bassmaster Opens versus MLF, or if you just watch Netflix. And the one we're talking about is we decided in some upcoming videos that me and Cody were going to fish whatever you guys. Basically, we gave 4 categories, one choice. Whatever gets the most hits, we got to fish all day long. So Cody was laughing about it until he realized he was up next after I'm done. So right now, Topwater's in the lead. I have to throw topwater all day. Crankbaits is in second place. Worman's in third place, and jerkbaits is running up the rear, my man. So that's probably not going to happen. You guys have one more week. To
vote. And
To
please,
vote.
for the love of God, don't vote for jerkbaits.
Yeah, if you don't want me to catch fish, then just,
Please vote for topwater. I can't wait to watch this guy not catch a fish after 9 a.m.
Right. So there it is. It's up on the screen right now. You guys can go to our page, hit the community tab, and go down and vote for it. I'm going to be really bummed out if you guys don't vote for jerkbaits. I'm kidding. And no, I'm not going to fish the bean rig. That is not part. Actually,
that's a great call,
listen,
man.
It's part of Worman. So if you want, vote on Worman, because let me tell you, I made an order that Jess is learning about right now, live, that I yesterday on a bunch of Carolina rig shit, because I knew I at the time thought Worman was gonna win. And
oh God,
I was thinking,
I'll tell you what,
this
I will
place,
tell you what,
no one throws a Carolina rig here. So
you put that bean rig in my pole, I'll fish the hell out of that thing.
good luck getting weights. That's the problem. You're gonna have to do some weird kind of. Those weights aren't out yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, when they kit out, they're gonna be sold out because they're changing bass fishing.
Changing them. They're changing them.
All right, well, we appreciate you guys tuning in, listening after, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, if you're tuning in, we really do appreciate it. This was the very first of many, and it's going to get crazier. This was just like our reintroduction to podcasting, video style, which we have never done. Well, we did a couple back in the day when we were podcasting, but they were terrible. And so we're going to do more of these. We haven't decided. Probably at least 2 a month. Maybe once we get to Tennessee, we're gonna possibly do a weekly. We're not really sure yet, but let us know.
Also, like one of the big things about that is we don't want to like have filler content that's lame. Like we want to be able to get to you guys and have something legitimate to talk about and like something substantial and up to date too. Like, you know, we want to talk about stuff that's happening in the now.
Absolutely. So we're going to leave you with a couple things. First, comment down below what you guys would like us to maybe expand on, whether it's a video that we did, whether it's a technique that you guys might want us to talk about, or whether you just want to hear us ramble about dumb shit. We can do that too. Believe me, if you go listen to the podcast, believe me, we can fill some content. I'm just saying. And the last one is the MLF series that's coming up. What is it? Stop 6?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. I think it's Stop 6. Stage 6. Whatever. Union Springs, New York. First week of August. We're going to put this, we'll just put this in a poll, dude. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put in a poll. I don't know how we're going to do it, though, because we can't put that many people in a poll. I want to know who you guys think are going to win. Who's going to win? So
that's a good one.
Yeah. So and we're gonna pick if you guys do this and you put in the comments who's gonna win. And you pick them. We'll put you guys in that Inland Baits hat that my man's got wearing right now. We'll put your name in that sumbitch, and when we pull it out, if it's your name, you're gonna get a bag of baits on us. How about that?
Probably. Oh, Paul's going to be very upset.
I am? Great. Yeah, let's end the chat. Let's end the podcast with pissing me off. That'd be perfect. Do you have a race car seat?
Yeah, I do. It's for a car bucket seat. No, I'm just kidding. What are you talking about?
Do you have a race car?
Do you
have a race car bed?
It's got lumbar support. It reclines. It's got a freaking. It got a foot thing.
Do you have a race car bed? That your roommates are going to put a remote start and alarm on?
Any Hoosers.
Jesus Christ.
Not hurling insults at me because you don't have a cool fucking chair.
I do have a cool fucking chair.
Probably in that box of baits that you win, you're probably going to get some, what is that? Panda juice. It won't focus, but that's what it says.
Yep. Definitely getting some Panda juice baits for sure. So don't forget to comment.
But you might also, this is what Paul's going to be mad about, you might also find yourself with some new Inland Baits jigs.
Oh, you're a dick. This guy.
I've got a hefty amount. I'm going to say hefty.
I hope that Brent is listening right now. I hope he is. I hope Brent from Inland Baits is listening right now. And just, I don't know, maybe it got lost in the mail. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe my jigs just got lost. Yeah, it just got lost in the mail. Maybe that's what it was. That's what we're thinking. So
I got a few.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I'll tell you what.
This
you
is
can have
bullshit.
all you want when you get out here.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, well that's fine. Yeah, no problem.
Yep, this is a J
and yes, you are biased. She is biased, but she does think that we're freaking rad. So.
Oh, we are rad.
All biased opinions are welcome.
All right, let's get out of here. I need another drink.
We're making pizza, so we got to make that happen. We got to make the dough. We got to make the dough first, but.
Oh. Yeah. I'm gonna have a cigar, probably another whiskey.
All right.
Probably go to bed. What color is Panda juice? I'm glad you asked. I'll show you before we go. Corey Spain, what do you call a big fish that makes you an offer you can't refuse? The Godfather. Oh, Corey Spain.
That's pretty awesome. You gotta ask. You gotta say. Let us say like what, and then say Godfather. That's good though.
I don't know about that, but okay. I love a good dad joke.
He is a dad. He is a dad. Good dude too.
We got 2 questions about real quick before we end this on Panda juice. That is not Panda juice. What is that? We're just gonna open this one. I don't even care. Hold on.
I was looking for my Panda Juice stuff today too. I couldn't. Must have put it somewhere
This
else.
is an OG crawler from Inland Baits in the It's Panda color of Panda Juice. And let me tell you what this. It is. I don't know if you guys can see. It's actually pretty good. It is like a black green color. It's really perfect, to be honest.
It's got
super dark, but like light enough that it's, you guys can see in the light, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That it's pretty green and heavy flake, heavy lime green flake. It is awesome. It's natural enough you can fish in clear water. It's dark enough that you can fish in muddy water, and it's inland bait, so it's an awesome bait in general as far as the plastisol is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Great baits, great color. I'm not just saying that because me and Paul invented it, kind of.
It's got like a candy apple outside, like a candy apple. He was telling me about it, and it's like candy apple translucent. So on the outside of
like
it,
when he sent us all the samples, like me and Paul both picked that color.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not kidding. Like, if this wasn't my color, I would buy this because literally you can fish in any water color. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's awesome,
It's
and
great.
it catches
You can
a
literally
shitload of
have
fish.
just this color and be fine anywhere.
Right. DP20 at checkout. Go to Inland Baits, buy all the baits you want, 20% off. 20% off. Are you serious? That's crazy. That's crazy. It is crazy. Brent's a great guy who will make you custom colors, but you can just stop right at Panda Juice. You don't have to do anything more custom than that. It's amazing.
You ain't got to mess with anything else.
Nope. You really don't.
So, all right, guys.
Yep.
We're out of here.
We gotta
Thank you
go.
for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. We'll catch you on the old next